Piers Morgan termed you as
Talibros.
Talibro, he said. But you look like a Calibro. I mean, why did he call that?
You should be questioned.
Why did you come for a podcast if you had trust issues? You started up Raza Afghanistan tours. What is that about? That's how you recruit people? Who in right mind would make a hostage style video?
10 seconds is too extreme, right? So
Right, we are going to dig your brain until the end. Why people clung to the US planes in 2021, when they were leaving? Like, why? What were they scared of?
the
So, what about women traveling to your country? Do they need to come with their mahram?
so a lot of people come and they see that the extreme hospitality.
Extreme what? Extreme what? You're not
Extreme
giving me
hospitality.
something spicy, man, for my podcast,
Looking
man.
for
You
a
are
headline.
sick.
I hope you blow up soon, brother.
Allahumma hafidhni ya Rabb. Did Taliban change?
People have cried, right? There's Americans that have come.
Why did they cry? What did you do to them? You guys don't have any American franchisee?
KFC, but this was Kabul fried chicken.
You are my hostage for now.
Hey, not for long, brother. Your IP address is already tracked, brother.
Hey, wait. Israeli Jewish people can enter Afghanistan? You're kidding me, man. They see any Hindus or any Sikhs out in the streets, do they have to worry, or is there bullying going on? So all these international investments, how do they get attracted to Afghanistan?
People want to come to Afghanistan for violence.
You're privileged. You have US citizen. Why going all through this mess?
It's something that's way bigger than any amount of money, my friend.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Welcome back to the World's Local Podcast. Today we have got a very special guest. Yusuf, also known as I Am Poco Loco for some reasons. You have probably seen his viral content from Afghanistan that's been not just sparking but exploding conversations worldwide. We are going to dive into his story, the realities on the ground, and what most people don't see behind the headlines. So stay tuned. This one's definitely going to be different, like other World's Local episodes. So thank you so much for accepting the invite, Yusuf. Pleasure to meet you. Nice to see you. Love the attire, mashallah.
Hey, Jazakallah
Is
khair,
this,
my
is
brother.
this how is this how you always walk around?
Ooh, so not always, my brother. No, when I'm out and about, not so often. But if I'm going, it's a special occasion or we're going out with the family and we're not so much around so many people, right? If we're going out in nature, we're going out for a walk, this is the most comfortable attire.
Okay.
So definitely. But when I'm out in the city and I'm out and about, not so often. Not that people judge, but it's best to fit in, right?
Really. And this has been your attire like even as you grew up?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, thankfully we've had family back home. Every summer we go back. They'd keep our measurements, and anytime a family member would go or we'd go, we'd bring some clothes back.
Please pack me. Please also get me one of them. I want to also wear one day.
Oh brother, inshallah, man. We just need some measurements, you know.
Inshallah. So, very interesting. Where are we talking to you at? Where are you where are you right now?
Wait, why are you asking me? Nah, just California,
What do
my
you mean
brother.
why am I asking? I'm your host, man.
I trust. I think so.
So, what's your story, Yusuf? Like, we see you online, and yeah, you are a bit explosive online. You're not just exclusive; you're explosive online.
I like that.
You have crushed all. You have crushed all the algorithms on Instagram for some reasons. What's your story? Where you from? Where have you been born? Tell me your story from the beginning.
So it's not so exciting. To be completely honest, I feel like my story, where I've come from and what's happened so far, not so exciting, but I'm really excited for the future, inshallah. Right, born and raised in California. Most of my family back in Afghanistan. So summer vacations, we'd go and we'd see our family. So as growing up, I always had a very, alhamdulillah, most of my family and just heritage, culture, tradition, all of it came back from Afghanistan. But I had the privilege of growing up in California, right? So seeing the first world and being exposed to whether it's the technology, the culture here, the finance, and how people make money, where they make money. So it's very privileged mix of both worlds, right? So I'd go on vacation to Afghanistan. So I'd see, for the most part, I'd be treated like a guest every time. I would be catered to. It was always a good time. I was never there for too long to get tired or to have to do chores and dishes around the house so much, and then coming back home.
We're in Afghanistan.
In Afghanistan, correct? Yeah. So I'd be treated like a guest for the most part. So I'd privilege there, and then I'd have the privilege of being in America to be able to work and learn and network and meet people here, right? So alhamdulillah, very blessed. But not so exciting, to be honest. I just had, again, California is a very great place. You have the freedom,
Okay.
freedom to be whoever you want to be. Almost too much freedom, I'd say, right, in California. But alhamdulillah, man,
Uh-huh.
it's a blessing.
But and the latest Piers Morgan show where Arab came on the interview, I think Piers Morgan basically termed you as Talibro. Talibro, he said. But you look like a Calibro. I mean, why did he call that? I mean,
I like that, man.
what is in there?
That's hot, man.
Are you a Talibro? Are you a Calibro?
Oh, I'm definitely not Tali, bro. I tell people, right? I just like drinking tea, bro. Right? I'm not a tea, bro. I just like drinking tea, bro. So people understand now. I think Cali, bro, is even hotter, bro. I like that. But the problem, I think, is people, especially with the big news networks, they get to frame things however they want. Like even we had a whole video. They played our video in the beginning of that little spiel, and even then he was able to call us, like I said, affiliate us with the government and say whatever he wanted to say. So ultimately, big news networks not to be trusted, right? Nowadays, almost I think even you should not be trusted, right, my brother? You should be questioned, and they should ask,
Why?
"Hey, what is he getting
Bro,
out of
come on,
this?"
looks like you have trust issues, man.
No,
Why did you come for a podcast if you had trust issues? Huh?
no, it's all love, brother, all love. I'm just saying, right? This is the times we live in, my bro.
Well, so also looks like you started up Raza Afghanistan tours. What is that about? That's how you recruit people?
Exactly. So that's how officially I'm able to host people, invite people, show them around the country. Before I'd have some family members.
Not recruiting, right?
Correct. It's a tourist, yeah. Straight tourism. You come, whether it's businessmen, they want to come see business, or if it's just tourism, sightseeing, deep diving into the culture, meeting the people. We're able to take care of all of that, alhamdulillah, legally with the country. Initially, we would do it just like I would just have family and friends, and I'd have my family host them. But at a certain point, I realized, hey, this is like, you know what? There's a lot of people that want to see it. My family is very well and capable of bringing, whether they're German or Russian or American. They speak many languages. So I realized, hey, let's make this actual thing, right? And alhamdulillah, the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan was able to get that whole system in place for us, step by step. We're able to get everything, all the paperwork, and now we're here, man. 1 year later now, and alhamdulillah, we've hosted a lot of different people.
Wow. Yeah, we can see that. But who in right mind would make a hostage style video when you start a tourist company or something like that? I mean, I wouldn't do that. I mean, why would you do that? I mean, did you know that this is how you will get there, or what was running back of your mind?
So I mean, it's a lot of gut feeling, right? Alhamdulillah, whether it was when Arab wanted to come and he had a lot of things he wanted to do, and there's a lot of things I said, hey, like there's all like he really wanted to see the like opium and poppy fields, and he wanted to like dive deep into that. And I said, hey, he wanted to shoot all kinds of crazy weapons, and so there's a lot of things where I told him, hey, straightforward, we cannot do this. Of course, in my mind, I'm saying, hey, we could do this, we could do that, we can get views, but it's gut feeling, right? Alhamdulillah. So a lot of times, but I keep the intention pure, and I get a lot of good gut feelings, right? So there's a lot of things we're able to do with Arab that most guests we were not able to do. And then when it came to specifically this hostage video, I had really good time with those boys, and it was somewhere throughout the trip. It was the second to last day where I realized, like, hey, tomorrow's their last day. Let's kind of set up a hostage situation. But initially, we wanted to do this. We wanted to make content, right? The hostage situation video, and have them send it to their parents when they're almost home, right? I wanted to them be on the way home from the airport to their home and send this video to their parents, right? To see how their parents would react. But then
no way.
Alhamdulillah, gut feeling again, I realized, hey, no, that's like, I would never want that to happen to my parents, like even 10 seconds is too extreme, right? So, but then we were able to turn that into some, I slept on it the next morning, their final day, I woke up and I realized, hey, let's just make content out of this. And we didn't have the proper material. I mean, we had the guns, we had the attire, right? But we didn't have like the black bags that, some of these other extremist, like terrorist organizations would use. So, but thankfully, we looked around the shop, I called a neighbor, and we had some black plastic bags. And we were able to just put it together.
It was in some cave or something, or back of some mountains. I didn't. Yeah, quite. It was scary.
Oh no, yeah, this was definitely scary. It's one of the one of friends like compound, right? It's like a concrete house, it's very tough and rough. So perfect setting. And we were there all night, and I realized, hey, this is the perfect time. Let's do it. And nobody wanted to do it except my friend Jake and his friends, and then my cousin
Okay.
Ibran. But the rest of the team, and other elders we spoke with, they were like, no, 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 like don't do this. This is not a good idea. And they said it mainly for me as an American. They said, "Hey, you might get in trouble for this." And I said, "No, no, no. Like
Yeah.
I'll put it together. Like, and alhamdulillah, we were able to frame it in a way where
But everyone had laughs about it. Everyone, like, I've seen the comments. Everyone saying, "Look, I want to go. I want to go Afghanistan." That was
unbelievable.
mad.
Yeah. Like as extreme as it was, it's the smile, thankfully, and then Jake also, mashallah, he had nude as well, right? His big smile, thumbs up, and the welcoming,
Yeah.
and even I led with "Assalamu alaikum," right? But I knew that in the
And
West.
they agreed to it, huh?
Oh, definitely. No, they were they were more excited about it than me, honestly. Specifically Jake. He was like, he just knew that the world is going to love this, right? He said, whoever he knows, and let alone the rest of the world, they're going to love this. Because sadly, this is what they think going to Afghanistan would be like, right? Except the smiling and the thumbs up. They just
Yeah.
thought it'd be black bags and guns and, nothing splendid. So thankfully, yeah, we had a great time. And then that was the last night, maybe 2 a.m. And we were taking them in the morning at 6 a.m. to the airport. So it's the last thing basically they did in Kabul. And it was I guess, the most infamous part of Kabul.
But people call that, I think, online Taliban tourism. How do you respond to it?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of things that we personally try to clear up with people is that first and foremost, like Taliban is a government organization. It's not just a man with a beard, a turban, and a gun, right? It's a lot more behind it. Um, Taliban are still fairly new, right? They were founded in the 90s. Um, and this was because of a civil war in the country after the Soviets were kicked out. There was a vacuum a power vacuum, right? So everybody's fighting.
Mm.
Every maybe like 100 meters, there's a different kingdom in Afghanistan, right? Very sad. Everybody's fighting with everyone, all Afghanan, all Musliman, and they're fighting with each other and all the Mujahideen, right? They're different Mujahideen from different mountains. But ultimately, the Taliban
Mm.
were able to, they were founded in Kandahar, and they were able to band together and make an organization. And they were able to take over
Mm.
most of the country and bring peace for the most part. And then, of course, 2001 bombing, but they still stayed together. They were still organized, and after 20 years of fighting, they were able to take back the country. MashaAllah. So yeah, Taliban tourism is not a thing because it's a government organization. I'm a private company. There's basically well over 1,000 private tour companies in Afghanistan now.
Mm.
It was just in the first 2 months of this year, I think there were 600 companies opened up. I haven't kept track after that, but alhamdulillah, insane how much tourism is coming into the country.
Are you by any chance affiliated to the government?
No, no, I'm not. Whether it's America or so, the funny thing is, America thinks I'm involved in the Afghanistan government, and Afghanistan
Mm.
Taliban think that I'm involved in the American government.
Oh.
Because Americans are like, how did you get away with that content? Right? They're like, hey, clearly, if you're making this content, you're carrying the AK and you have turban and whatnot, you're clearly
Yeah,
Taliban.
yeah, yeah.
And the Taliban are saying, hey, you're posting this content, whether it's about Palestine or Afghanistan, and America's not saying anything to you, you're involved in their government. So it's like I'm stuck in
Wow.
the middle, man.
Imagine their thoughts, huh?
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
being pulled apart, brother.
So you're between the both. You need to guard the both, huh?
Yeah, and I'm thankful to have a foot in both, right? Like I was saying, it's a blessing, man, to be able to have privilege in both, have responsibility in both countries as well. But it's working out so far, brother. I'm trying to make the most of it, of course, because it's not so many people in a position like mine or with energy or whatever the privilege may be that I have. I'm doing my best to make the most of it. And then people like yourself are
The-
inviting me to spread my message, to dig my brain, whatever it may be. So I will give what I can, my
No,
brother.
no, we didn't even start picking your brain. We are going to dig your brain until the end. So we are just begin at the beginning of the show. So uh, you are explaining Afghanistan as in beautiful. Like I've seen the valleys and mountains and food or whatsoever. Like looks beautiful. But then why people clung to the US planes in 2021, when they were leaving, like
Mm.
what were they scared of?
God. So yeah,
And how is it from then till now?
So the propaganda, even within the country, let alone foreign propaganda, right? Since the West had their claws all over Afghanistan through media and through in person and through all the tactics that they used, they were able to paint the Taliban as demons and as like they cannibals, right? They were literally thinking that Taliban are going to go out and just eat these people, whether they worked with the government or not, whether they are
Mm.
Muslim or not. Like everybody was scared of them. Even there were certain Qadis, right? Certain people who Hafiz of Quran, and scholars that were scared of Taliban when they first came in, right? They admitted this, and now, mashallah, they're so happy and proud to be amongst the Taliban and learn from them or learn with them or teach them. Um,
Mm.
so I really think first and foremost it was the propaganda that was just spread within the country. Any bombing,
Okay.
whether it was ISIS or any other organization that was in the country, would be blamed on Taliban, right? And so for this, anybody with a beard and turban was Taliban technically, right, in the eyes of most people. So people,
Okay.
especially the kuffar and the enemies of the state, they were able to use that to their advantage and plant the false flags, whatever it may be, and put on the Taliban. And for this reason, people were scared. But on top of that, I tell people here in America, if you're in San Francisco and somebody told you, hey, there's a free flight coming at this time going to New York,
Mm.
right? Not the, it's just a maybe $600 flight round trip, right? At most. And
Mm.
people would leave everything they're doing. They would run on foot, crawl, whatever it may be, to the airport to get on this free flight to New York.
But not hang on the plane, man.
Okay, so yeah, this is the hanging on the plane is that's also something we show our guests all the time. Is when you're in Afghanistan and a lot of other countries, whether Pakistan, Hindustan, maybe some other area like Yemen, some of these other countries, people hang on to cars. People sit on. There's four people that will sit on a motorcycle. People will,
Wow.
people
Same
will
like India.
like India as well. Exactly, India, Pakistan, all of this, brother. Like for the most part, people understand like they don't really they trust best if they can find a footing or a good position to hold on something, they trust it and they said, hey, I will make it. So I believe that many of these people thought the same thing about a plane. They said, hey, as long as I got some place where I could be a part of this plane, I'm good. They didn't think about the other physics of an airplane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so very sad, man. It was a very sad day. They have many people.
I'm
Yeah,
sure many of them lost their lives, right?
yeah. Many lost their lives. Many people because there was also an explosion on the day that right, it was like the day that they were able to kick out America when Americans were taking the and NATO they were taking the Afghans with them, the ones that were trying to get away and scared or just looking for the free ride. During that time, there was an explosion, a very attack. They said it was ISIS K, but we all know it's all the same. Like it's all foreign enemies of the state, and Taliban America had there's many instances where people saw Americans and Taliban interacting, right? The Taliban would give an Afghan or let an Afghan go to the American and signal to the American, hey,
Okay.
like take this person or whatever it was. So it wasn't it wasn't as violent as the West made it seem, right? There was
Mm.
madness, there was a lot of hustle and bustle, um, but for the most part, it was a very fair. It was a sad day, no doubt, right? But it wasn't as bad as people seem. They burned those images of the airplane and the victims or the people holding onto the airplanes. They burned those images into our eyes. But for the most part, most couple people were just curious, wide-eyed of what's going on, what's going to happen. And
Mm.
then the other sad part was a lot of people dressed up as Taliban, right? A lot of people were able to take their own,
Yeah.
whether they needed to take revenge or just take advantage of people in their homes. They put on the turban, they held the gun, and they kicked down doors saying, "Hey, leave your home, give us your home, and or give us your gold or whatever it may be." So for the
Mm.
first, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks, possibly even a couple of months, realistically, people were able to get away with it in certain neighborhoods. So Taliban very quickly were able to nationalize, make a system where they were requiring all Taliban to carry a card of identification. They don't have a
Okay.
specific uniform they make everybody wear, um, but more recently at a lot of the offices they do have uniforms. But for the most part, most people are able to just even like myself. I'm able. They confuse me with Taliban, but the turban, my
But
friend.
uniforms as in what? Like the salwar kameez is your uniform?
No. Shalom kameez is this is regular standard. Um,
Okay.
this is like a
Because
uniform, but
I've
it's full
never
shirt.
seen any uniforms
Yeah, no, but they
on the
actually,
media.
yeah, they enforced, especially with when it comes to like the Defense Department as well as some of the higher government officials. They've put down the order that hey, like we need to be identifiable, right? They want to be able to see that
Okay.
this person is working in a certain office or a certain building. So they have full uniforms, not suits and ties, of course. They still, a lot of people, maybe you see, I know Pakistan does it as well. They have it's like shalwar kameez,
Okay.
but it's made of a different material
Yeah, I've
and
seen
it's
something. Yeah,
camouflage.
yeah. I've seen it in movies or something.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, so yeah, there's definitely a uniform and there's much more identification. If a Taliban ever tells you what to do, hey, do this, do that, you're allowed to ask for them for their identification, right? This is for the safety of the people. There's hotlines all across the country. Just Kabul, I think, has like 15 to 20 hotlines where you can call and you can, if you have to, you can mention that a Taliban has done something wrong, right? If you have a question like, hey, he was at this checkpoint, he beat
Oh,
this
seriously?
person, or he yelled at this person, or wasted my time, whatever it is, you can call at the checkpoint, or if you can identify them in any way, you're able to with these hotlines. So it's very cool. Like
Okay.
you see these things, and subhanallah, it's a blessing to see and witness first and foremost, but then to be able to share it with people like yourself and the rest of the world it's a blessing, my brother.
So, how did the economy, education, tech, like, did all these grow over the time, or is it still backwards as a country?
Okay, yeah. So it's definitely, I would imagine. So right to it, right. So I think the only thing that many people think is backwards or label backwards is the female's education, right? Sadly, this is something that thankfully I've been shown, and they're saying that they're working on it. I've looked at textbooks. So the problem is after sixth grade, they don't have a system for where it's a secular school for girls, right? They don't do this, or university. Sadly, this is all privatized. But what they do have is they call it madrasa, right? Darul Ulum in Afghanistan for girls and for men as
Okay.
well. But from it's all secondary school basically, right? It's all the way up until 12th grade. But the problem is, or what the West uses as a problem, is that hey, there's this school. It's a Muslim school. It's an Islamic school. It's not a school. But this time this more recently we visited a couple schools, private and public, the madrasas, and we saw that the system for the madrasas, right, the girls' education, the issue is that hey, there's too much Islam. The thing is, it's 9 subjects of Islam, right? Whether it's the stories of Sahabas, the wives of the prophets, peace be upon them, the history, whether it's the learning Arabic, of course, first and foremost, as well as Hifz and all whatnot. So it's 9 subjects of Islam, and it's 7 secular subjects, right? History, languages, the sciences, which is like chemistry, physics, biology. Um, so for this reason, still somehow the West is able to frame it and be upset about it and say, "Hey, it's only madrasa, it's only an Islamic school." But thankfully, there's 7 subjects, like I said, of technically secular subjects that people can learn from. And when you graduate from here,
So you don't,
women can be
so you have
nurses.
secular subjects in the you have secular subjects in the school, but you don't have a secular school, right? You just, I mean, your curriculum is Islamic.
Correct. Yeah, the curriculum definitely is based in Islam, um, for girls specifically. But they are private schools, right? A girl can still go to a private school. But for the most part, yeah, they're teaching Islam, and you talk to most of these teachers, and they're all like, yeah, like we spoke with the principal with one of our recent guests, right? We had a Western, I believe, possibly one of the first musicians from, at least with the current government, probably the first American
Okay.
musician that came to Afghanistan, right? Very famous, very popular. We can't share just yet because we haven't posted yet, but he was able to come and he really wanted to see uh, the the women's rights, right, and kind of see what the situation of the women. And so we went to a couple schools and we sat with principals of these female schools. And thankfully, one of the principals was able to tell us that, hey, like, we don't want, like, I personally do not want secular schools for these girls. Like, it's better that they learn Islam,
Yeah.
because a woman or a man, like, first and foremost, through Islam, is very holistic, right? You're able to learn whether it's
Exactly. Yeah.
finances or eating or health or how to carry yourself. You learn so much through this. So through these schools, people learn not. Of course, you don't get a career right out of the gate, besides nursing or teaching maybe for these females. But they learn how to become a adult, a human that can benefit their neighbors, their society, their home. So a lot of people don't understand that, sadly, especially in the West.
No, but the female. So you are, you are kind of giving me an indication that females are not allowed to work.
No, no. So females are working, my friend. There's female, whether it's
Okay.
you're looking to get a SIM card or you're going to the bank. you're exchanging money or you're buying clothes. There's cafes, women owned and women ran cafes and restaurants. There's female tour guides that have their own businesses and they employ other females with them. Um,
Okay.
there's yeah, man. There's female police. There's females in the government. At certain checkpoints or like the airport, there's for the female line, females get patted down by females, right? Alhamdulillah, yeah, there's a lot of women working. Yeah, not as
But
much as the West. Don't get me wrong.
mm,
Because most households, besides the government, most households do not want their women to work, right? If they can afford to, and most people
okay.
can, right? It's like $100 a month can feed the whole family, right? One person will go,
Subhanallah.
mashallah, and with that $100 that he has to work hard for, of course, not easy to make $100, but he has to work hard for this $100, but he's able to take care of his
Mm,
5 children and his wife, and pay for rent and electricity and whatever it may be, mashallah. So they do whatever they
Mashallah.
can to make sure that they can keep their women from working, right? But women are allowed to, they can leave the house without a
Oh,
mahram. Um, when it comes to far distances, right, you're going to a different province, yeah, they're going to ask you to
mm,
take a mahram with you, or at a checkpoint, a Taliban will say, hey, like, this taxi driver is your mahram, like, who is this you're with, if you're going to another province. But within the city, within a 20-30 minute drive, they're not going to ask you to say, hey,
okay.
where's your mahram, you know?
So what about women traveling to your country? Do they need to come with their mahram?
It's definitely recommended, right? Especially for the Muslim sisters. Like I personally, whenever I can, when we have female guests and they're Muslims, I recommend it myself. It makes things better, easier, more. There's more barakah in it, right? Their trip is. It's not about
Exactly.
safety.
Yeah.
It's just more, halal, my brother. But besides that,
Yeah.
no. When it comes to actual restrictions or legalities, no, my brother. Like especially as a tourist, you do have some more freedoms. Um, and that has to, especially Afghanistan, right? Afghanistan and Muslim culture around the world. Any Muslim country you go to or Muslim society you go to, most people will realize that. Wow, subhanAllah, these guys may not have much, but they're offering me their home. They're offering me food, transportation,
Mm.
care, concern. So a lot of people come and they see that the extreme hospitality, and this carries out into the rules that we apply to
Extreme
guests.
what? Extreme what?
Extreme
You
hospitality.
said something extreme. I'm catching you there. Extreme what? What do you say?
Oh, you're looking for
You're not
hot.
giving me something spicy, man, for my
You're
podcast,
looking
man.
for
You are saying
headlines.
everything good about Afghanistan.
You you said explosive earlier. You're talking. Oh man, yeah. We had a guest back recently. He kept saying, "Oh man,
Okay.
this is the bomb." Like he was about food or about like this is the bomb. That's the bomb. And I had to check him. I said, "Hey brother," I was like, "Do you have a wire on you or like what are you looking for exactly, brother?" No,
Uh,
I'm paying attention, my brother. I'm gonna do my best. All right. You got me right now,
yeah.
all by yourself, but
Please,
I'm
please,
watching.
please keep me safe. I'm an emerging podcaster. Please don't.
No, I think you're gonna blow up soon, brother. I hope you blow up soon, brother.
Astaghfirullah. Allahumma ahfadhni ya Rabb. So that's amazing. So, you talked about female being schools, but I also remember Taliban blocking, like I think pre-2021, blocking females to go for education.
Oh no.
Don't you look? I mean,
So it's still
don't
blocked
you see
technically.
there is a contrast? Did Taliban change or
No,
what?
God, no. So 2021, they came back into power, right? And as soon as they came in, within months, they did close down the girls' schools, right? But these were the regular school, the schooling system, right? So they closed this down, and right away they opened up these madrasas, and they call them madrasas, right? They don't call them schools, but in Islam,
Yeah.
that's what.
So madrasa is basically Arabic term for schools.
Thank you, my brother. Exactly. And they're very stern on this, right? They said one thing that I've seen. I don't want to judge it. I can't say it's good or bad, right? But the Emirat knows best. And what they're doing is they don't care for PR so much, right? They're not so much like they could have very easily opened up some girls' schools and said, "Hey, look, we have a girls' school here. Or, hey, look, there's a women business here," and post it in English. But they don't, right? They post everything whether it's Pashto or Dadi. They post it for its own
Mm.
citizens to see the benefits, the whatever the country's doing, whatever the government is doing, whether it's the safety or the development or whatever it may be. They show it to its citizens. They're not putting it out in English so much, or tagging influencers or whatever it may be. The government is very focused on just bettering the government, mashallah. And basically, so what happened was we were seeing these things again and again where I realized, hey, like my energy and my time is not being wasted There's no corruption. And when they tell me that they're working on whether it's girls' education or whatever it may be, there's progress, right? Consistently, there's progress, mashallah. And so time and effort is not being wasted. I am not being paid to keep saying, "Hey, things are getting better, guys." Hey, like it's because I see it, mashallah, and the people of the country see it.
I swear my next question was that, because you're saying only nice things,
Yeah.
and I'm
No.
like, are you getting paid?
No, man. I'm paying, man. I'm paying taxes, man. Like every dollar we're making or every Afghani that comes into our circulation, a lot of it's going back to the government and to our costs, you know. But it's a blessing. Well, there's so much barakah, and we have guests come, and people have cried, right? There's Americans that have come by the end of their trip. There's a lot of silence on our trips when we go on these road trips, and we're walking through certain
Okay.
parts. I just look over and I'm able
Why
to.
did they cry? What did you do to them?
There's not much I can say that I've done to them, but what I can tell you is that they've had a blessed time, my brother. They've seen a lot of things that they were lied to about. But I was saying, yeah, no, my brother. These guests come, and yeah, they're the silence that they have times of silence where they're able to think and see like these people are human. The Afghan people, besides the government, the Afghan people are so they have nothing, right? We've gone to people's caves. They live in caves, right? So we go to their caves, and they will cook meat for us. You know, and Subhanallah, God knows how often they eat meat. They're not eating meat within a month. They might eat meat once, right? But for our guests, they find ways to have meat for them, you know, and offer them whatever they can. It's I feel not guilty per se, but I feel yeah, it's guilty basically. It's I don't know the exact translation from Pashto, but it's sharmigam.
Okay.
You know, like you feel guilty in a sense. You're embarrassed almost that hey, like he's treating my guest. I should be treating my guests, right? But these people are treating my guests. They're doing more for my guests than I am technically, right? 'Cause, yeah,
SubhanAllah.
I may be sacrificing for them, but I'm taking their money and I'm doing this for them, right? Whereas these people are doing nothing. You know, they're getting nothing from it and they're sacrificing so much. So it's so beautiful to
Really?
see, and it makes me feel like I get goosebumps sometimes just thinking about it, talking about it. But our guests they get moved to tears, right? And it's just subhanAllah, that is you cannot pay for that, my brother. No matter what you do, no matter whatever you do for these people, that is something that is just subhanAllah. Like my family here, sorry, I'm going all over the place, right, my brother. But my family here, initially they were not very happy, right? I'm spending a lot of money going back and forth, setting up this business,
Okay.
inviting people. I have a university degree, right? We have a couple businesses here, but I'm spending a lot of time in Afghanistan, and a lot of the family here is kind of like, hey, man, like, okay, like, what is your plan with this? How are you going to make money? How are you going to make money?
Mm.
But now, thankfully, they're able to see some of the impact that, you know, and a lot of our guests are able to speak with my family here. And they see that it's like people's eyes have opened to not only Afghanistan and Middle Eastern hospitality, but ultimately Islam,
Wow.
right? They see Islam in these people's actions and in their faces and
SubhanAllah.
in their meals,
SubhanAllah.
mashallah. So it's a beautiful, beautiful time, alhamdulillah.
What are the places you take them, like province to province? Like Kabul is the place I think they arrive, right?
Definitely, yeah. Some people come through the border of Pakistan. They come through Torkham, and then we take them through Jalalabad all the way to Kabul. Um, but that is a long journey. It's about 8 to 10 hour drive, one way, right? So, and it's just it's a hassle at the border. So yeah, we fly into Kabul. Very simple. We show them around Kabul for a couple of days, and then mainly
Okay.
Bamyan. Bamyan has the first national park in Afghanistan, right? That's where the blown
Okay.
up Buddhas are. The Silk Road went through there, and then also the Blue Lake, very famous. We take them
Okay.
to another place called Jalalabad, like I mentioned earlier. There's a couple of things to see on the way. On the way there, they have this big Humvee that's posted on this big. It's like they made a monument out of one of the American Humvees, right? They stick the white flag of the Shahada on it on top of it, and so mashallah, you see this big pole, or this big monument, and there's a Humvee seated
Mm.
maybe I'd say 15 and 20 meters up in the sky, right? And above it, mashallah,
Wow.
is the flag of Tawheed, the flag of Islam, right?
You guys made a monument out of it, huh?
There, yeah, mashallah, they made monuments out of that. They've made a lot out of the Russian tanks, right? A lot of the Russian tanks were they're made of
What about
real.
those? If I come, would you let me hang that tank? I don't know what's that called. I've seen you doing the pull up. Pull
The
up with
pull-ups
the
on the tanks.
tanks.
Oh, brother, they're
Yeah.
all.
Is it paid? Do we have to pay or is it free?
Oh no, free, my brother. Come on, man. The tanks. Yeah, these tanks are all over the country, mashallah. And one
Yeah.
thing about the Russians, and one thing, all the Russians, they used real deal steel, right? When they're making these tanks, or they made some of the roads and some of the tunnels when they were trying to occupy the country, they made things that
Okay.
lasted, right? So Americans also built some things, and Americans also left
Which
their.
which year Russia tried to occupy? Sorry.
They walked back through the 80s, right? It was 1979,
80s.
yeah, like so they had a foothold, right? They came in, they put together, they put a puppet in place. They kind of we started secularizing the country. They really tried to secularize the country. But mashallah, the Afghanan themselves, whether it's all the way from Nuristan to Paktia to Kandahar, like all regions of Afghanistan for the most part, didn't really like that. They didn't like a foreign person coming in and telling us not to follow the religion or to, hey, live this way. There are pictures and videos of girls in skirts and men in suits. But those are that was the elite of Kabul. So not even all of Kabul
Okay.
was like that, right? There's a very few elite, and many people refer to this time as the Enlightenment or the modernization, the light time, like the bright times of Kabul. But most of Afghanistan was not liking it, did not dig it. The women did not want to wear skirts, right? The men did not want to wear suits. So a lot of people, they were able to fight back. So all these mujahideen from the small little villages, like I said, of Nuristan to the mountains of Paktia to everywhere, they were able to take up arms with whatever they had, and they were able to defend their mountain. Whatever mountain they're on, they're defending that mountain. And so
Mm.
all together, mashallah, they were able to kick out the Russians. And of course, it was with the help of the U.S., right? Mashallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala somehow inspired the Americans to help out the Taliban. Not the Taliban, sorry. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala somehow inspired the Americans to help the Mujahideen of Afghanistan, right? So there's movies like Rambo and James Bond where they
Yeah.
talk, you've
Yeah.
seen this, baby, right? They talk light of the Mujahideen and of Afghanistan, you know? Um,
Mm.
I think it was Ronald Reagan invited some members of Taliban and Mujahideen to America, and they let them speak at a podium, right? So he speaks on the podium, and they had these other Mujahideen come speak at the podium, and he referred to them as freedom fighters and Mujahideen, you know. So America was they had big eyes for Afghanistan and the Mujahideen during the Soviet invasion. But they were kicked out
How?
in 1989, and then a civil war
Mm.
pursued, right? Sadly, for about close to 10 years, man, there's civil war. Towards the end of the 90s, Taliban took over, and then that's when, like, Osama bin Laden, Allah yarhamu, he had come back to Afghanistan, and Mullah Omar, the
Mm.
founder, Allah yarhamu, founder of the Taliban, he understood that Osama bin Laden he had done jihad with the Mujahideen of Afghanistan against Russia, right? So he had
Okay.
come from Saudi and he had come to do jihad against the Russians, and he had come back a second time from Sudan. He had come back, and Mullah Umar, he understood that, hey, this is our guest, and on top of that, he's our brother because he fought with us. So he said, hey, he told the
Mm.
world, like, yo, if you guys think this guy did it, show us proof, and we'll try him. We'll try him in your court, we'll try him in our court, or we'll try him in any other Muslim country's court. But we must try him. We're not going to simply hand him over. And so George W. Bush didn't want to hear that, and they attacked 2001. Right, 2001 September it happened, and within a month, it was October, they attacked Kabul direct and just bombed all Kabul, right, to get the point across that, hey, like, we're not going to negotiate, we're not going to talk. And clearly, it wasn't about everybody understands, it wasn't about the Twin Towers, it wasn't about the attack. There's much more at play for them. And so for 20 years, yeah, they fought for 20 years for the country and ultimately understood that, hey, it's not possible, it's not going to work out. And they didn't just run away, they were forced into a deal with the Taliban. And they kind of said, hey, like, okay, here's the country, let us leave in peace, protect the airport while we leave. And they did that.
That's. I mean that whole thing which you said could have been a different podcast altogether.
I'm
Looks
so
like that's
sorry,
a
yeah,
very
bro.
interesting.
There's so
What?
much
No, no,
more.
no. But that's good. That's good. I mean, I didn't know much about you know,
Like the
like
recent history. Yeah,
point to
definitely.
point details. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
How are the like infrastructure there, like the roads and Is it developed, or is it what Americans have already made it? That's what you have. How does a city like Kabul look like?
So Kabul, mashallah, one thing that happened over the occupation, right? The attempted occupation for the past 20 years, there was a lot of subcontracting and a lot of corruption, like many countries around the world, right? It even happens in America, man. The you get the contract from the city and you're able to put a lot of it into your pocket instead of into the project itself, right? So a lot of this was happening in Kabul and Afghanistan. So a lot of these roads,
Okay.
they were contracted for 10 million, but ultimately maybe $500,000 was put into the road, right? Everybody
Wow,
else
not
was,
even not even 1 million.
yeah, no, it's unbelievable, man. Very sad. So one thing that Taliban did is they went to all of these people that had these contracts and grabbed them again. Said, "Hey, this is your road. You were paid this much to do it. What's the deal? Like, why is this broken? Like, why is this?" And they still had money left that the government was supposed to pay them, right? One thing that the government would do is they wouldn't pay them the whole money up front, right? They would wait for the project to be finished or whatever it may be. So a lot of these people still had money left that the government needed to pay them. And the Taliban, the government needed these people to finish their jobs. They said, "Hey, we'll pay
Wow.
you, but like you got to scratch this and restart it. You got to do this, do that." So the infrastructure, initially they did a lot of taking things out. They took down homes that were built illegally, like built on the roads. So you went, they gave them a notice. They said, "Hey, you have this much time," and they took down these homes. They took down shops. So it's extreme in a sense, but they were able to very quickly clean up things and build the main foundation so that they can lay roads again and build new homes and bridges and whatever it may be. So now, mashallah, there's things
But
like,
how does it look? How does it look like now? Right? Is it developed or is it developing? How does it
yeah,
look like?
it's so a lot of people think again Afghanistan is just mountains. They don't even understand. Some people who may be a bit educated understand there are mountains, but a lot of our guests initially think it's just desert, right? They think that all of the Middle East or the whole Islam, all Muslim
Yeah, yeah,
countries
yeah,
are just desert, right? So when they come and they see the
yeah.
rivers and they see the plants, the fruits, and the mountains and the animals, they understand like, whoa, this is very interesting. Um, but more than that, yeah, the roads, the bridges. There's a dam, right? Because Alhamdulillah, Afghanistan has a lot of water resource, right? They have a lot of water from the mountains that go into our neighboring countries for free for the most part. They don't get taxed, they don't get charged. So now
Nice.
Afghanistan has built. They've been able to build a canals and dams to either make power from it or at the very least use the water to irrigate farms on the side of the canals and dams. So there's a lot of
Okay.
huge infrastructure being done, and then also city to city, town to town, you see new roads being built, small bridges being developed. It's very beautiful to see, mashallah. I don't post so much of that just because it's a bit more boring in a sense. Um, but if you look it up
Yeah, you
online,
don't
there's
want to. You don't want to post city stuff. Yeah.
correct. Yeah, yeah. I stick to the extreme stuff, right? Because I think that's what yourself, you and your friends are interested in, right?
So yeah, that's interesting. You have showed me some fake franchisee of a coffee shop. You guys don't have any American franchisee at all?
I believe there's a Skechers. Skechers, somebody has the license to distribute, and it's not a franchise, but they have the license, I guess, somehow, somewhere with Skechers, and that's downtown Kabul. Because people love having like people don't wear shoes so often in Afghanistan, but things like Skechers and some of these
Really?
soft cushiony shoes they do wear, right? But besides that, no. There used to be a KFC, but this was Kabul fried chicken, right? And there's pictures of
You know,
Colonel Sanders all over the place, right? But it was Kabul fried chicken. I
I belong to Kerala. Okay, we have KFC, but we also used to have some KFC, basically Kerala fried chicken,
no
not
way.
Kentucky fried chicken before KFC. So,
And the same branding.
I think in all way, like we are like almost like Desi's having similar kind of jokes, I think.
Oh, definitely, bro. Alhamdulillah, we have so much like, and now thankfully more than ever, like India, Afghanistan has a good relation and they're working on the relation. But when it comes to the citizens, we have so much interest from India, mashallah. So many
But
of the Muslim
I
brothers.
want to put a pause on there because I want to talk about economy and development now. I have questions on that. I want to go details. I
Let's
won't
do it.
let you go alone with it. You are my hostage for now. Astaghfirullah. Sorry again. Sorry. I won't use that word again. Sorry.
Hey, not for long, brother. I'm gonna. Your IP address is already tracked, brother. The coordinates are
Oh
in
no.
the.
So now, okay, you talked about the roads. Okay. What about you talked about schooling system?
Mhm.
I've seen that sports car on your reel as well, which is manufactured in Afghanistan. Is it dead or is it still there? Are you guys like making the more cars? Are you going to compete with Tesla soon, or what's the story with it now?
My brother. So yeah, electric. I would. Electric is still a ways away. There are a lot of developments in electricity, solar powered things, um, but for the and water like electricity that's powered by water. But
Was
for
that electric car?
no, that wasn't an electric car. No, um, that one actually they did not. They made it is a sports car, right? They didn't make sports car, but the engine was a Toyota engine, right? So there is some. It's not everything that it's made out to be yet. It's a young man. He was able to get together with just a couple engineers, and they were able to make that car and get it on the road. Um, so it's not as nice and fancy as it looks, but there's mashallah, many young engineers that have made their own models of cars with very finite resources, right? Very small amount of money,
Yeah,
um, and not much manpower. There's people have made planes, um, whether it's small or
planes,
big. Yeah, planes, mashallah. And it's not. I wouldn't say the
planes like
safest.
drones, like a toy drones, planes.
Ah,
What?
there you go. Drones as well. Yeah, people are making drones, definitely. Smaller scale, but no, they've made planes, not passenger planes, like big passenger planes, but nice small like private jet sizes, you know. And they're made it with very small
Really?
resources. Yeah, yeah, very dinky. To be completely honest, I wouldn't say there's something you'd want to put your family on, maybe, and go for a long flight. But you know, able to put something in the air with a pilot and not much schooling or not much money, you know. So a lot of people are very interested in building these things, but they're not to the level or to the standard that most people would want, you know. So,
Yeah, I got it.
but it's mashallah,
Like
in these
startups.
times, yeah, in these times and with this economy, it's amazing to see, right?
What about apps? Like, do you have delivery apps or something like that in
So,
Afghanistan?
they've worked on it a little bit here and there, but our people love to haggle, right? Afghanan, and most Muslims, right? It's sunnah to haggle, right? Not predatory, not to the
To have what?
to haggle, to bargain. You know, to bargain. You see a price and say, "Hey,
Oh
brother."
yeah, so make a bargaining option on the app, yani.
There you go. I think we did it,
Okay,
brother.
so it didn't work. So the app didn't work.
No, no, yeah. So the apps have not worked. They still do for some of the higher end. Some people who do have exposed like disposable income, technically, they do have the option to get things delivered to them through websites. There is Amazon, but the Amazon is hosted from Dubai, so it's the AE Dubai Amazon, and
Yeah.
then they have somebody that brings those products to you from Dubai. Um, and
Oh,
then
nice.
there's a lot of restaurants that do delivery. There's 24/7 restaurants, world class restaurants, right? They do all kinds of beautiful dishes and culture. They have so many things in there, and they're 24/7,
Mhm.
right? So places like Ziyafat and
Nice.
Bukhara and some of these other ones, they have 24/7 restaurants with delivery drivers
Mm.
delivering 24/7. You know, so there's definitely a lot of advancements, but it wouldn't be right to hold it to the standard of like Dubai, for example, or the Khalij, most of them, these countries, right?
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah, and then the
So
economy. I mean, you didn't mention the.
how's the crime rate among your people there?
Hmm. So crime rate, amazing, my brother. It's genuinely safer than.
Amazing, yani amazing like that? Amazing or
No,
amazing like
not
this?
like GTA amazing. 5 stars and you're grabbing whatever you want. No, no, my brother. I mean, it's safe and sound, my brother. You can walk around whether it's with a sister, a mother, your wife, or children at the middle of the night, subhanallah, right? Whereas before, if you're a big, rough and tough man with a SUV and with a weapon in hand, you couldn't drive through a lot of these places at night, just because there'd be goons with multiple cars, and there'd be goons with
Wow.
guns waiting for you to strip you of whatever you have, you know. And
Seriously.
I'm sorry.
Seriously, yani.
Yeah, yeah. So no matter like whether it's places like Paghman or literally downtown Kabul, let alone the outskirts. I'm talking about places where tourists go and where there's all kinds of lights and power and Wi-Fi. These are places where you would get robbed of everything you have, right? Or even you'd get your life taken for an iPhone, sadly. So now, alhamdulillah, it's as peaceful as it's ever been, really. Um, We've hosted personally Israeli Jewish people. We've hosted previous U.S. military, and then
Hey, wait. Israeli what? Israeli Jewish people can enter Afghanistan?
yeah, we've hosted
You're kidding me, man.
Yahud. They didn't believe it themselves, right? But mashallah, like since the position I'm in, where I am an American citizen, they trust me a little bit more because they know, hey, if there's any problem in Afghanistan, I can come for him and his assets in America, right? So that's what gives a lot of people assurance, thankfully. And yeah, we've been able to host them, introduce them to Taliban, whether it's at checkpoints or wherever we may be, and eventually tell them, we don't go right off the bat and say, hey, we have Yahud with us, right? But we explain to them, hey, or Israelis, but more specifically. And but after we sit down with them, speak with them, we have conversations and we tell them, hey, this is his beliefs, this is where he's from, or they've served in a certain military. But for the most part, the few people we've had that worked in the military, whether they served Iraq or Afghanistan, they're very apologetic, right? They're very regretful. Subhanallah, like after
Who's
sitting,
apologetic? Sorry.
the zalim that were with the foreign armies, right? When they were
Okay.
American army
Okay.
and
Yeah.
and they went and attacked Iraq or Afghanistan, they were very apologetic, right? Even though they went to it thinking one thing, and once they were there, they saw it for what it was. So they apologized, they're regretful, and even then, mashallah, there was one time we were sitting with one of the we were sitting with a we're sitting with the Taliban at a very nice pool in a place where it's a river in Paghman, and they've built concrete pools on the side of this river, right? So the river flows through these pools, mashallah. So it's like fresh spring water that flows through these pools. And they have really
Beautiful.
nice, like they made little patios and snacks and tea and whatnot. So we take our guests there often. And occasionally there's Taliban there, right?
Wow.
And so we're sitting there with some Taliban, and we're just talking, chatting, and then he gave us a very, very sad and real story about one of his family. He was a young man, mashallah. But so a lot of these Taliban, you see the big beard, you see turban, they look very older. You would imagine they're, 40s, 50s, very mature. But they'll tell you they're 27, 28, 31 at most. And it's because, all the hardships they've endured over the past decade or 2 decades.
Mm.
And the people older than them, even the elders they've this hardship on hardship, subhanAllah. And but my point, sorry, to go back to the point, we were sitting at the pool with these Taliban, and one of the Taliban members was telling us a story about how his childhood friend that he grew up with was they were Mujahideen, right? They were fighting against the occupation, the American occupation, and they were 22, 23 years old, both of them, and his friend had just gotten married a week before, and he was droned.
Mm.
They were together in these mountains, and subhanallah yarhamu, he was droned, right? And so our friend, sorry to get a bit graphic, but he picked up the pieces of his friend, right? He put it all together, and he said, right as he's
Allah.
explaining this, he said,
Mm.
as I'm telling you this story, I will tell you that drone operator, wherever he may be today, if he was to come as a guest, I would sit with him just as I'm sitting with you. And this was something that, subhanAllah, again, I was humbled, let alone the guests. I was humbled that he was able to have such humility and share that with our guests. So it's like you see these things, and the guests see these things, they hear these things, and it's unbelievable how they're able to
Looks
interact with
looks like Afghanistan is all out in letting people come and showing them to the world. Is that so?
very much so. You would think it's propaganda, like you said. You would imagine these people are getting paid for this. And subhanAllah, everybody understands, right? They've heard stories of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and they understand that hospitality is something that's very important, very near and dear to the Muslims. But specifically Afghanistan and Pashtun Wali, they call it. They've made movies even about there's this one. It was like they had a sniper. I forget the name of the movie, but I believe it was in Helmand, in Afghanistan, where a sniper was like there's an American sniper, Afghan sniper, and something happened where the sniper was injured, and it was a farmer, I believe. He sought refuge in the home of the Afghan farmer, and since he knocked on his door or
Mm.
whatever it may be, the farmer let him in, and he even protected him from the Mujahideen, just because he had come in open arms and he had come as a guest. So the farmer felt it was his duty to protect him. So it's extreme hospitality, my brother. Like you can say it in so many different ways, but I'll tell you, it's extremism in hospitality.
Wow. I cannot even fathom to have a sniper at your home and
Yeah, and to
giving him
understand that
hospitality.
he's killing your country, man. But since he came in open arms, Just like the other brother we were sitting with, and he said that, hey, the drone operator that was able to do this to my friend, my family friend who just got married, I will sit with him. I will, in that instance, I will forgive him and treat him as a guest.
That's something which we don't know about Afghanistan. So you earlier you were saying that you have relationship with India. So if I come as a tourist inside Afghanistan, do you think they will let me back in my home, India, or are they going to ask me a lot of questions?
So they definitely will ask you questions, no doubt. I'm positive. Um, but I would imagine, like, I wouldn't say that the relations are full and for like, because I don't believe we have an Afghan embassy or consulate in India yet. So I don't think we're at that level.
Do we have Indian embassy in Afghanistan?
I don't think so. No, no, that's a great question. I don't
Okay.
believe so. So the relations are not in concrete yet, but there's a lot of meetings of whether they're diplomats or whatever they may be. There's a lot of meetings going on, alhamdulillah. And so yeah, you see a lot of these things, and now people understand that Taliban are not just men with beards and AKs, and it's actually a fully functioning government with the different departments. So it's a good time. There's a lot of growth. Not easy.
You guys have also non-Muslims inside, like, or if so, what percentage? Because I remember Hindus from Afghanistan went to India when some of the article got revoked. I don't know what was it. Like many Hindus from Afghanistan took refuge in India or something like that.
Correct. Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you have still, and what are their status now?
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of the Hindus that left, we had many Sikhs as well. We had a lot of Sikhs that spoke our language. Like they were fully integrated in society. It's not like they were refugees. They're speaking Dadi or Pashto. They're eating and drinking and living as an Afghan. Mashallah, and marrying into Afghans and everything. But yeah, 2021 when the occupation got kicked out, at that time a lot of the country left. Right, it was a huge, especially people. Those for the most part, the non-Muslims felt threatened the most, right? Because they thought they were going to be the first victims. They were going to get ate
Okay.
up or whatever it may be first. So the Hindus, the Sikhs, some of the Jewish people we had, they left. But
You
even
had
still,
Jewish people as well?
yeah, we had a Jewish community actually. But more or less over the past 15, 20 years, it got less and less. And then we even have synagogues. Yeah, so in Afghanistan, we have preserved, there's a few synagogues. We have some Sikh temple or gurdwaras. Yeah, there's some gurdwaras they have kept in Kabul.
Are they
Um,
still there or is it crushed?
yeah, no, no, so that's one thing, right? In Islam, we're told we're not allowed to demolish we're not allowed to demolish the where people are praying. We're not allowed to build them either, right? So we're not here building gurdwaras and building synagogues. Not the
Mhm.
government. The government's not building synagogues or gurdwaras,
Yeah, I got it.
but
Yeah.
they're also not demolishing them, right? So it's very beautiful. Like even the whole story of the Buddha being blown up. Like many people now, thankfully, understand the story of it, where it was much more than just hey, this is idolatry and they're blowing it up. Because there's still other Buddhas there. There's still it's like the fam. It was I forget the relationship, but there's the Buddha. I think it's his sister or brother. I'm not, but the sibling of that Buddha is a little bit further down the mountain. So, and that one's still there. It's just a bit smaller, but it's still carved into the mountain.
How much of the percent, like how much percent of your population is basically non-Muslims?
Ooh, okay. So it's minimal, minuscule, my friend. So it's really like Afghanistan is 99.9% Muslim, I would say, right?
Okay, so it's very, very less.
Very, very small, unbelievably small. But thankfully,
So in your community, when they see any Hindus or any Sikhs like in out in the streets, do they have to worry or are they cool if your regular community know like this is Hindu, this is a da da da? Is there
correct.
bullying going on? Like talk it plain. Let's know exactly what's going on.
Exactly. No, no, they're so first and foremost, their safety is guaranteed, right? No doubt. Not as a guest, but as a citizen, right? If they are citizens, they're guaranteed. As a guest, of course, you're like extra guaranteed for safety and your
Do they have
right.
rights? Like, can they file complaint to the cops or I don't know?
Million percent, yeah. So I mean, you did mention bullying, and of course, bullying is something that's fairly prominent in Afghanistan and most of our countries, where like in the household, everyone's bullying everyone. Everybody see a little small shortcoming in you, they're gonna point it out, right? So they're gonna say, "Hey, why do you walk like that? Hey, like, hey, why do you look like that? Hey, why do you talk like that?" So
Yeah,
people
yeah. So
do.
yeah, that's there in our Desi community, so I can understand that.
Okay, right. So it's very rough upbringing, but it builds character, right? But as for when it comes to actual bullying, like predatory and being evil, no, my friend, I will tell you straightforward. I can put my neck on the line and tell you that you will be not only safe but happy, right? because alhamdulillah, they're really, really like people are understanding Islam for what it is, and much more people are being educated on Islam now than before. Yeah, they've stopped music, they've stopped makeup salons, they've stopped a lot of free mixing. So the country may be a bit more boring, right? But mashallah, there's so much more barakah in the streets, in the businesses, and a lot of things now.
So, so all those kind of places are closed down, like for tourists, right? That's what you're saying?
They're non-existent. Like there's not people. Weddings will still have music. There are weddings halls that play music. People drive in their cars, listen to music, but it's not allowed, right? Plain and simple. The Talib sees it, or just other people in the community may see it and say, "Hey, man, like, well, come on, man, like, keep it to yourself, like, keep it low." Like, there's been times at checkpoints where a lot of people, when you drive around, you will see people are listening to music. You can hop in a taxi, and the taxi driver will play music sometimes. You know, even if I step in with a turban or whatever it may be, they don't like because again, Taliban are not out here beating people for listening to music. They will just tell them, "Hey, turn it, take it off," you know. And then as long as they're apologetic and they do apologize for it, it's not an issue. They're not going to get jailed, arrested, or beat, you know.
So good that you mentioned the music. What are the other entertainment you guys have there?
So now nasheeds are very big, right? Mashallah. There's a lot of nasheeds, especially Arabic, of course, because a lot of the government, they themselves grew up in madrasas, so a lot of them learn Arabic, speak Fusha Arabi, and now they're trying to push that and help people learn Arabic. Like it's a thing now. A lot of people learn Arabic. A lot of tourists now are coming from the Arab world, right? Mashallah, and they're getting along very well. They're learning a lot. So I think with entertainment, nasheeds have grown a lot. But more than that, we call them tarana, and it's like
Tarane.
Pashto or Dari nasheeds. And these sometimes we'll talk about it's not always about Islam or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes it'll be about the greatness of a country.
Like poetry, huh?
Poetry, thank you very much. Yeah, so poetry. There's also poetry, which is less rhythmic, but still people listen to it, right? People love it, cherish it. Weddings will have nasheeds or poetry. And just certain talking. They listen to speeches a lot more. So there's still entertainment. Yeah. And then if you put on the TV, there still will be like a Bollywood movie, and there's still music videos on the TV, right? Subhanallah, like
You guys have channels like international channels are allowed?
Sometimes in the hotels you see it definitely. They have the international channels. You see there's Asian TV channels. There's like I said India. There's Bollywood. Um, as for the regular homes, not so many international channels. But there is anime. I've seen some animes that are dubbed into Dari and Pashto. There is
really?
Yeah, and there's all like the Bollywood movies. And
so how is the internet availability? Like internet is available and you have some blocked sites, of course?
Of course, yeah, definitely. It's very much like the Khalij where like anything that's bad for the most part is blocked. TikTok, surprisingly, is also blocked. A lot of people still have access
TikTok
to it.
is blocked?
Correct, yeah, TikTok's supposed to be blocked. But a lot of people still have access to it, right? They find their way to it.
Is it because you guys have any problem with Chinese or what?
No. So actually, China is something we're very again. It's not so much allied with China, but a lot of business being done with China. A lot of our mines are operated with China. We have a border with China, right? A lot of people don't understand that Afghanistan has a border with China, and though that region specifically, that region specifically.
Like, do you have a roadway as well? Do you have a border?
I'm sorry.
Do you have a fully operational border, like a roadways?
No. So people don't travel through it. No, because it's if you see the map of Afghanistan, it's the pointy tip of Afghanistan. That smallest, the pointiest tip of it is the Chinese border. Then on the long side, one long side of it is Pakistan. The other long side of it is Tajikistan. And so for this reason, it's all like it's a very thin land. It just all these countries were fighting for it, whatever it may be, and they left us that we got that little plot of land. So Afghanistan, mashallah, and Taliban specifically are doing their best to keep this piece of land because it's very vital for the new Silk Road that's being built. Right? I know China's making Silk Road 2.0.
New what?
Silk Road, right? Like Silk Road of the past, where trade and mall would go from Asia all the way through to Europe, even.
I remember, yes.
So now they're working on this again. Silk Road 2.0. You can look into it. I don't have too much information about it, but I do know certainly that there's trains now from China coming into Herat, and you can get whatever it is that fits on a train, and you can get it shipped to like people are getting full like container homes now are being shipped from China all the way to Herat, and it's a lot of development being happening. There's a lot of talks with our neighboring countries now. We're getting along for the most part. So it's a lot of
Yeah.
amazing, whether it's
So
geo.
you talked about Chinese helping you out in mines. What are the other resources you have in Afghanistan?
Ooh, okay. So the
And are you
list is,
guys exporting it?
yeah, the list is long. So when it comes just to gems and stones, there's plenty, right? Whether it's rubies and emerald and so many
Precious
nice.
stones.
I'm sorry?
So precious stones.
Precious stones, thank you, from gold, rubies, emeralds, all this. And then there's metals, right? MashaAllah, there's a lot of good, like whether it's copper, lithium. There's a lot of very
Oh, you
precious.
have copper.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all of this, my brother. And for the most part, yeah, the Chinese come in and they're able to operate mines with, and the deals are not so predatory like they do in other countries, where they'll build a port.
Yeah, like in Africa, right?
Correct. They'll build a port, operate it for 100 years, and then say like they'll get the contract for, hey, we operate for 100 years, and then you can have it. And they bring their own Chinamen, and the Chinese will build it, operate it, use it, and there's no real benefit for Africa or whatever nation they're in. Right here, it's fairly. They've done a pretty good job of.
So it's a fair trade. You're saying it's
I would
not
say,
like
yeah, like the
they
government's
take
happy with
off
it.
very cheap and sell off very at a 300 percentage, like the France and other Western countries have done with Africa.
Correct. No, no, yeah, no, no. It's not predatory at all, thankfully. And there's a lot of oversight on them. A lot of Taliban still don't trust them in the sense of business is business, but they still have a lot of standards and a lot of checkpoints basically for these minings. Because especially with mining business, it could be a very dirty business, and you could sneak a lot of it out. You can start poking holes.
Yeah.
They poke holes in mountains where they're not supposed to, so Taliban will watch out for that. So it's very it's really good to see a lot of these things.
So all these international investments, like how do they get attracted to Afghanistan other than their resources? Like, is it free to do business there? Is it
Uh,
interesting for investors from outside?
so yeah, it's very open for business. Right now, more than ever, is like you come to Afghanistan and basically you don't want to open
What
up
what
like
countries are coming in?
correct. No, no, like all these hotels that our guests stay at, every single time there's so many businessmen there. More than tourists, there's businessmen. Whether it's from the local countries, like I said, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, all these local mountains, but a lot of Arab countries, a lot of Asian, Africans as well, a lot of
When
Africans
you're
that
saying
come.
Arab countries, especially from where? Is it from Khalid also?
Khalid, yeah, definitely. There's some Khalid, not so much Khalid, to be completely honest. Um, but there's a couple, and then they tend not to. They're not in the hotels that we frequent. They tend to be at the nice or like we have hotels that are like $200 a night in Kabul, right?
Oh,
Um,
you have.
yeah, there's one. They have a Qatar diplomatic whole. They built a whole like diplomatic building within the confines of the hotel for Qatar. So it's like some of these nicer, more
So,
diplomatic hotels are very expensive, really nice. So the conversations and the meetings that happen there, I am not too sure of, but there's a lot going on there when it comes to the Khalid countries, at least.
I'm just looking back at my questions. I love the diversion we have gone beyond my list of questions.
I'm
That's
sorry, man.
amazing.
I just yeah, like I'm.
No, that's good. That's not sorry. I mean, that's good. I love the flow.
No, I love that. I'm so glad that you're just
So you said,
again.
locals, when they come, I mean, the foreigners when they come, locals treat no matter what, you say the foreigners when they come there, they sometimes there is a moment of silence, pondering upon like what just happened and what do we think, and they go back crying. You're saying, right?
Correct. Yeah, yeah. There's moments where they cry, and it's not a very. It's just very emotional and just silent and tears. And for the most part, just there's so much going on. But it's not like most of our countries, right? Just on the road. There's pedestrians. There's people on bicycles. There's people on horseback. There's people in cars, and there's street shopkeepers. There's a lot going on a lot of the times. So it's once we get out to the
I mean,
country.
don't they overcharge when they see a tourist?
Yeah, definitely. But it's
I mean, that
nothing.
happens, right?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Just like, and I believe this is how it should be. I don't think that anywhere in the world, I don't think that tourists should be, but it's not, they should not be double or they shouldn't be paid double or
Yeah,
triple.
they should not rip them off, but yeah, there should be a little bit.
There should be like a little bit of a tax in a sense, right? Just kind of like, hey, man, like, especially in these third world countries where the dollar goes so far, they should definitely be able to. It's wrong of people to go to these third world countries and haggle so much for a very competitive rate. right? Especially a Muslim country and a country you're able to kind of, help with a bit and kind of, your dollar goes so far. So yeah, they do, and that's why having a guide is recommended. It's not necessary, right? Alhamdulillah, you go Afghanistan by yourself. We've had backpackers, we've had people on. There's a pedestrian coming fairly soon. He's walking from Vietnam to London on foot, and he's going to be walking through Afghanistan, inshallah. So we're going to make sure we take care of him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, help him out when we can. There's a lot of people that came on bicycle. They like biked through Afghanistan. There's a lot of people that motorcycled through Afghanistan, like hitchhiked through Afghanistan. It was very beautiful. Like right now, and all these people don't have guides. Like they just get a letter of invitation if necessary and get their visit visa.
Wow.
And they're on the road.
So in Afghanistan, most of them needs visa, and how do they get it?
Yeah. So you have to get a visit visa coming to Afghanistan, and sadly, at the moment, it's not a visa on arrival. What you do is you go to one of the Afghan embassies or consulates in the countries that have them, so like Dubai, Qatar, Pakistan, some of these local countries.
So Dubai and Qatar has embassy, you're saying?
Correct. Yeah. Afghan consulate. You're able to go and pay for the visit visa, and then get on a flight from those countries, Turkey as well. Like get on this flight, come to Kabul with your visit visa, no problem.
When you take them as tourists, are you do you also hire a bodyguard to move around with them, or that's not needed, or what's the situation?
So no, definitely you don't need a bodyguard. We have had some guests, like one of our Jewish guests. He was kind of fairly like, hey, I want a bodyguard. So for him, we'd ask around, and it's like the bodyguard business is very bad in Afghanistan, right? It's not like
Really?
Bulletproof cars are the cheapest they've ever been. So when it comes to like security, there's not much supply at this point. Especially well, I mean, there are bulletproof cars on the market. Like so you get for a couple $1,000s, you get bulletproof Land Cruiser. Crazy. But when it comes to like bodyguards, yeah, there's not many. But you can contract them. There are bodyguards. People want them. But I myself, we walk around with our weapons. Just because we can. I walk around with a weapon in California and America as well, legally, of course. I have a concealed carry license. So I take it with me all the time. In Afghanistan, we don't carry the big gun with us often, but when we have guests, we carry the big gun just because they like to see it. Not that they think, oh, okay, I am in good hands, I'm safe, but more so just so they can see it, right?
Just for whom to see it? The guests?
Oh, correct, the guests. Yeah, and we let them take pictures, videos with it. We carry an empty magazine with us for our guns. Right, we have 2 magazines. We carry an empty magazine, so we put that into the AK-47. And we give it to them. They can hold it, and run around with it a bit, take pictures with it. So
but giving guns, I mean, don't you think that leads to gun violence then later? Or isn't it happening there if everyone has guns there?
Man, people want to come to Afghanistan for violence, right? The amount of increase I received where people want to come and shoot an RPG and want to shoot guns and blow up stuff. And I'm like, whoa, my friend, like, you can't even shoot a pistol in these mountains nowadays. Like there's so much security where even a pistol being shot, so one of the local checkpoints is going to find you and ask you, what's the point? What are you doing? What's the deal? So it's very difficult now. The security is almost. Do
you need license, or any Dick and Harry could have a gun?
No, yeah, you definitely need a license to have a gun, especially to carry it. To carry it is very difficult, but it's possible if you have a business or you have like it's like a sensitive business, whether it's like you're a money exchanger or you have tourism business like myself, something like this. You can fairly easily, as long as you go through the order steps, you're able to carry a weapon.
If you let's say, what are the developments which you still didn't see in Afghanistan, which they should? What do you think of?
Ooh, so we've had a lot of streamers planning to come to Afghanistan, and I've told them to wait just a bit. I was like, if you want to come and make the most of your trip and you want to stream, you need to wait, because right now the internet is not as fast and available in some regions to stream at like 1080p, let alone even more higher quality. So that's something that definitely needs development first and foremost. Then of course, yeah, women's education is something that alhamdulillah, a lot of people are working on, talking about, whether it's the government or just the citizens. But besides that, the economy hugely is affected, or all the sanctions from around the world on Afghanistan has not helped. People want to work, people need to make money, right? So a lot of the youth complains about, before when the American occupation was here, there was so much money being injected into the economy. Like I said, whether it's through these corrupt contracts or through the
Okay.
translators that worked with the government, daily they were making hundreds of dollars, right? Some of these translators were literally pocketing US dollars, thousands of dollars a month in dollars in Afghanistan. Whereas you need about $100 to live, in Afghanistan to feed your family. So they
Is
were
that per month?
per month, correct? Yeah.
Wow.
And
What is the rupees you should, I mean, do you use rupees or do you use any other currency? What's the
it's
currency
called
you use?
Afghanis. Yeah, so that's why. So
What is that called?
the currency is called Afghani.
Afghani?
Afghani, correct? Yeah.
Afghani, wow.
Yeah, a lot of people misconstrue and they think that the call an Afghan person, a person from Afghanistan, is an Afghan, right? They're Afghan. They're not Afghani.
Okay.
But in
Okay.
Arabic and some other, they will say Afghani, maybe, right? But in English, at the very least, or our currency is Afghani. But a person in English is called
Afghani.
Afghan, right? They're an Afghan. They're not Afghani.
Okay.
So a lot of people will make
So
that.
how much is $1? $1, how much Afghani you get?
You get it's roughly, I'd say 68, 69, up to 70 sometimes. But mashallah, it's really held its value there.
So pretty strong currency, yeah.
Definitely, yeah. It doesn't fluctuate much. It's fairly good. And then when it comes to money exchange, they're very strict on people making big margins. There's money exchange all over the city, and they'll sit on the side of the street with $5,000, $10,000 just sitting there, you know. And mashallah, they're very safe and sound. It was really good to see.
But when you said sanctions, what countries you have sanctions from?
Ooh, so I don't know where we don't have sanctions, my brother. Like basically all of the West. When it comes to Europe, NATO, right, our most recent enemies. These guys were the colonizers. They came, so they first and foremost put sanctions on us. They will not sell anything to us. They will not buy anything to us.
What about India? India
No, I don't believe.
East.
I don't think there's sanctions because I know there's people can buy a good amount of things from India. People go and come to. I think there's direct flights to India as well, if I'm not mistaken.
So is there trade happening between India and Afghanistan?
I can't, on higher level, I can't say to be certain. I know there's small shopkeepers that will buy from India. Get a container or something from India, but I'm not too sure if it's on the, the trade of the country. I'm not too sure, to be honest.
What do you have to say? Like, what is one Western myth about Afghanistan you would like to kill?
So, I mean, first and foremost, the kuffar or the kafir, like being a kafir, being a non-believer in Afghanistan is probably the most dangerous place to be, or position to be in, right? But no, my brother, like you being kafir, you being a non-believer in our country, or like I said, to the extent of being an Israeli Jewish person, which is deemed by Afghanistan and most of the people as enemies of Islam, right? Or an American or European army, like military personnel seems to be the most dangerous position to be in Afghanistan, but that's not the case, right? So, and I love to show that as much as I can. And all I'm trying to do and show the world is like, yo, it's safest it's ever been, and inshallah, it's gonna continue to be safer, right? Especially for guests. So I want people to see that, whether they're female, whether they're trans, whether they're whoever they are, whatever color, whatever flavor they want to be, they can come to Afghanistan, and it's safe as it's ever been, my brother.
How does this work of your tours? Like, once the guests are coming in, do you bring them in slots and do you make sure you are with them, or do you have some employees already showing them
Yeah,
the
so
place?
I have it's mainly family and friends. On our tour, tends to be a bit more. How do I say? Like it's a bit more conservative in the sense of like alhamdulillah, like there's a lot of demand and we can hire a lot more people and just get everybody to come to our company. But alhamdulillah, our like the people on our team for the most part they're married. They tend to be they're conservative, so they don't listen to music, right? They don't want to be. They'll have a great time. It's not like they're boring, right? Like you'll see some of the videos we've had, and it's nonstop laughter, right? Mashallah. But or even this musician that we had. We had a musician recently, and he's tried and done everything this world has out to offer. Whether it's the women or it's substances or whatever it may be, they've been able to try, most things that because they don't have any limits, right? And they're almost encouraged, especially in the entertainment industry, to try these things. So he comes to Afghanistan and there's no music. We're not sitting with women. There's no substances. And he had the time of his life, right? So these things, and so it's very beautiful, very moving to be a part of this. But for the most part, I'm not on the tours myself. unless it's like a VIP personnel or like a creator that really wants to build something, show something different. Or if it's like a VIP group, they're paying like a VIP premium package. I'll take care of them. I'll be there with some of my guys. But for the most part, alhamdulillah, all my guys are good guys. We have some sisters that we contract out as well that work are guiding with us for us. So they take care of whoever wants to come. And then I'm in the mix. We make a group chat. I'm usually involved, just in case I have any questions or
But Yusuf,
please.
You're privileged. You have U.S. citizen. You have U.S. passport.
Alhamdulillah.
Why going all through this mess? You could have had just stayed there and built your American dream sitting in US, right? I mean, why go through all this hassle?
My brother. So I've had endless. I still don't have a specific answer for this, to be completely honest. But alhamdulillah, I've had this inspiration of being able to help the world, help the people, help my people, but ultimately the ummah, right? So like, especially after this Arab series, I really was able to see how much the ummah specifically wants to see people be proud of their heritage, be proud of Islam, and me being able to in person be or have people on my team show people this is something that's way bigger than any amount of money, my friend. Like I said, the Yahoo and all these media agencies have spent billions of dollars, if not trillions at this point, of just in propaganda, let alone actual physical attacks, right? Just in propaganda,
I agree.
they
Agree.
spent so much money to do all this to show the people, hey, Islam bad, Allahu Akbar bad, beard bad, hijab bad. But we're able to show the world, alhamdulillah, with my phone, that hey, this is not the case. You know, come and show and see people proud of their Islam and proud to have you as a guest. That is not a Muslim. So a lot of this, for the most part, is bigger than anybody could dream. Right? I just want to be part of the ummah. Ultimately, this is not just about Afghanistan. Really, that's like I said. When people come to us, we get to show them the Islam of Afghanistan. Right? Again, Afghanistan has a very rich history of music and just all kinds of cool, interesting history that is not exactly related to Islam. But for the most part, it's the reason that Afghanistan is still here today is because of Islam. Right? It's the Mujahideen of the past, the Mujahideen of current, and the Mujahideen includes the sisters, the mothers, the kids. These are all Mujahideen, right? All in their own ways, they're able to.
Well, define Mujahideen, which you have been saying.
And one thing, alhamdulillah, I've been able to say this word a lot with you, right? I've spoken with other people, and with them, I'm not
Yeah,
mentioning it.
let's educate them. What's define
Yeah.
that?
So mujahideen is anyone, for the most part, who is fighting their nafs, right? Fighting, first and foremost, fighting their nafs, right? Fighting for the happiness of Allah, or to be
Sure.
basically a mujahid is someone who fights for Islam. And fighting for Islam is in so many different ways, right? Whether it's within yourself, when you're scrolling on your phone and you're scrolling past certain things or unfollowing things, whatever it may be, all the way to the highest extent where you're literally fighting somebody who's colonizing your home, your society, your country, um, and yeah, basically you fighting to please Allah. That does not mean physical violence. That does not mean killing or fighting. It just genuinely means maybe some discomfort for the most part in fighting to please Allah, right?
Interesting.
And again, I'm no scholar,
Thank you
man.
so much.
You've had me talk a
Uh,
lot, and I haven't been able to share as eloquently as I'd want to, but I do appreciate you for sitting, talking,
no,
asking me
no,
all
I
of
don't
this,
know.
brother.
No, of course, this is something which we don't know. We don't see it through media. I mean, alhamdulillah, we have social media where, like influencers came in and then, they shared some beautiful part. And even in the Piers Morgan show, um, that's amazing that how I think Jake, or I don't know who exactly is. I know the Arab, but I don't know the other brothers' names. They were saying beautiful things about Afghanistan, though peers were completely against them, bashing them. Oh yeah, what you guys were doing. You guys were, engaging with Talibros, and how is that a journalism? I'm sure you might have seen that.
Oh, 1,000,000%. Yeah, my
Uh,
brother. I was in the group chat. I was supposed to be on the show, but about 5 minutes before the show went live, I didn't get the Zoom. I didn't get the link for the actual meeting, right? And the guys also
why?
on the panel, they were also like, "Hey, for some reason you're not in here. Like, I don't know what's the deal," but they were already locked in, So thus we let it put on the TV and we're watching it, right? And mashallah, my family was very happy to see like how all three of them were able to carry themselves and stand on the truth, right?
Yeah,
I can only imagine the pressure of, because they ultimately don't have a stake in Afghanistan or the Ummah, right? All three of them, none of them were Muslim, right? So they didn't even have a stake
yeah,
in any
yeah,
of
yeah.
this. But mashallah, they stood on the truth, and they did
But why
speak.
didn't they let you in? Can you tell me why didn't they let you in? Why didn't you get the link?
No, no idea. I was not told. It just they didn't know. I didn't know. We weren't told. Maybe Piers Morgan could tell us one day, inshallah.
Inshallah, one day. Thank you so much, Yusuf. It's amazing having you on my show. Absolute privilege to. This is what World's Local Podcast is about. To basically uh, being vocal for the local from east to the worlds, because our eastern part of world has been for so long suppressed and colonized and having no voices. Our narrative is painted by them, so this is where our mission is also at, and I'm glad that we could share so many things. Any words you want to share on the final closing?
No, no, man. Really, like, just to be able to be in touch with you myself, let alone being able to actually conversate with you like this on a platform like yours means a lot, bro. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair, bro. Messages for
Oh,
me.
yak.
I think just again, I can say this on your podcast, but it's jihad, my brother. There's resistance in all forms, against your nafs first and foremost, for your family, for your society, and for the ummah ultimately, right? We need to do it more than ever. And one thing I really hope and pray is that our country slowly stop taking so much pride in their flag and in their nationality so much. And I think this is something sadly Israel has forced us into, and the Yahud and the Kufar and the people who have, the ones that are planning against us. And they're not in the favor of no citizen of the world, let alone the Ummah. But they're kind of cornering us. And I think, inshallah, there'll come a time where the Muslims will realize our flags have only held us back, held us away from one another. And inshallah, they're going to be able to all unite, whether it's through the flag of Islam or whatever it may be. But they kind of just come together, travel to other Muslim countries, interact with other Muslims, go to different masajid, right? And just interact with more Muslims, inshallah.
Thank you so much, Yusuf. And if you have watched this podcast until now, I would recommend you guys to subscribe, because that helps us to bring more amazing speakers like Yusuf. So for now, signing off. Please do comment down what was the most best part which you didn't expect. Comment down below, please. See you. Signing off for the next episode.